Hello. Every topic is recorded connected to the answers, to what everyone missed. Everyone's defending titles and blaming on other and others the real causes that originally facilitated areas on off campuses inter-science maintained tools for other juxtaposed motivations, reactions and uses of life progression cover-up natures and life progressions per their roles and motivations with slavery and with colonization's crazy slavery laws on every color. It's not by accident that hasn't been understood. It's not by accident because of four shared legalized criminal and insidiousness natures, but criminally legalized, but just left that because areas maintained campus Marcius, criminally re-engineered since semi-ancient times. All modern nations were measured, taken as Oz. Tactically, having degraded already equality of fact, treatment nature, of correlation nature, value, of and as the value of the campus Marcius, of and as the branches revealed manifest by and as our Trinity nature's relationship to itself, with and as that being our relationship to the identity of space, where and as and how our complete body is still further a semi-nature. Each individual cell is a semi-nature, sharing the cell body, the cell wall with other cells. And what is positive onto each cell sequence in progression nature is positive onto the other. It's the same thing at the same time. You're walking, they're two, you are, but the same thing is the earth is flat and round at the same time, when it has positive value nature onto itself. When it's flat or just round, and with exceptions, and with exception nature. To describe and discern that, the nature come through radical correlation. See, this is a breaching method, maintaining itself here by maintaining itself areas and states in collusion with what can't defend itself, and then us at federal levels too. So it's a distinct free speech hostage method record, real simple, inter-branch families, and we know since before anyone was born. The oldest senators, before they were born, already juxtaposed, were nations within as uncharged, entrenched since before our founders' births. Still fact treatment nature slaves by it, worse than tortured by it, worse than without free speech by it, worse than having just to have their free speech. All they could do was put up the surface of the Constitution, wait for us to relieve ourselves. Evolution comes the second we do. Each person is being attached to fake conversations. This is how it happens. There's a Debbie Gold in a Faglione family in an O'Brien family recorded and confessed with people. We'll see intermilitary distinctly and together how they were. In other words, both corners of the street of the recently sentenced principal sex offender, and who arrested, in the courts that arrested and put him away, and his doctors were recorded and confessed with crimes tied to evidence perception bodies associated with the school. Worse, since before that, forcing it sustained, and even online. See, they have animal police to counter what all that was is left manifest with not just nations, but criminally legalized together, trying to respond to things like terrorism with the same repeated roles. Fake sides. Against correlation nature, they're here. They're not against Islam. And in other words, and they're not for it. With they're defending each of the religions as what you can't defend. In other words, with the same premises, treatment's ill, not let demonstrated. With fact, treatment nature, conviction nature, tied, influenced by sciences, left criminally foreign influenced. Tactically, inter-nation, tactically to be indescribable per this being a free speech hostage method, writing other in databases, offensively directing. So we had that known juxtaposed with also unknown. Use Donald Rumsfeld, known and unknown, talking about, I believe he was talking about, I don't remember what but I'm talking about criminal and citizenous natures. Not just the legalized ones, sharing policing, relationship to stores and markets, values, and all the other kind of threats with that alone. From this base left abridged. I'm talking about, so, what the hell was I talking about? So, in other words, they make confessions to people and demonstrations. They make people know each other's names through inter-branch clicks and through juxtaposed, unknown yet, and already known federal criminals at the time, juxtaposed. Like, for example, with job sites, with all that tied to that, with all that tied to shared policing of the streams that go into unions of all natures, even and especially regarding the police and military. And then it goes into locals, street, and the national, international investments and stuff like that. That's all tied simultaneously with everything else. Value nature system, values of bricks, the values to be able to counter poverty, people stacking that was affected by the forced slavery laws against George Washington, who had to leave his slavery and overt slavery entrenched in the North, with the French general's help, even right before the last battle of the Revolutionary War, meeting him in Wethersfield and in Hartford, where Trinity College is now, first reportedly called George Washington College. The city was set up, too. At the time, they glorified the connection of the Harriet Beecher Stowe house, of the Mark Twain house being tied to each other, and then next to each other. Now Harriet Beecher Stowe associated with the phrase Uncle Tom. Mark Twain associated with I think the Huckleberry Finn. I don't know if that was the same book. The one where he takes a gym down a river. Older guy, but it's about slavery. So he's trying to take his friend to freedom in the North. I believe that's river runs south anyways, though. I don't know. In other words, I think it was Mississippi in the book. Anyways, not the point is a theater that was criminal insidiousness nature, all the way up to Jim Crow laws beyond that, and into the present. See, but with that, the whole time is breaching method, consciously maintained, blamed on others, by all only let realize natures of sophistication as victims, but as victim predators reliant upon ill fact treatments, ill sequence shifting, indifference natures, to all that with and as that private as weapon, breaching nature roles yet against everyone. See, that's not just, if you put when you had slavery laws against everyone, and then you made it really worse and stuff like that, exploiting all exceptions. That was the fact treatment nature racket, Racketeering Influence or Corrupt Organization Act, RICO. I'm not a lawyer, not a criminal. Boxing, not military. When Wade fights, does not hurt. In fight, as the nature the reason we have the ability to make distinctions is to bring more value here, because it's going to stay perfect value gain. Otherwise, where that's the energy to see that and lose it anyways, that's going away from here. Lethe of Hades. That's a little bit more of the inherent nature. That is the value to the position of Earth. Go away. Less value made here, because it's only going to stay perfect value progression, the identity of space. This is what English was revealed to teach. This is what science revealed to teach. But we have these are how we have victims. These people I mentioned now, I had nothing to do with them in life. The reason it's important is because every year of my life they were our recorded and confessed, tied to database illusion stacking, and with an on-off campus method with that, where they share the names, where they have inter-branch actors share the names and direct people to know others through what they say, and to call other people liars, and then you never had conversations with people. So in other words, that evolved to their roles with and as recorded tied sex offenders, tied to the more recorded and confessed various natures of other sex offender acts recorded online, inter-branch tied, then spreading rumors too, tied to them stacking falsified police reports, and with juxtaposed military police families of each branch of service, and the National Guard, recorded and confessed involved. 2 mobile gas stations, recorded and confessed involved through time. And with foreign and domestic families. People connected to crimes on and off campus with each age of fact, treatment, nature connected. Mental health care is recorded and confessed involved with crime methods with courts, where they torture people by just stacking more and more lies about them with no conversation. Then they just pretend that they don't realize that, to hide their recorded roles. Sequence shifting, wire crimes, evidence crimes, crime methods right in courts to prevent recorded child abuses acts and methods even recorded from being reported, tied to what motivated that. Because that was his recorded too, because I've been trying to report this through time. Now it's recorded, tied to a bunch of people, tied to a Joe DeMauro and a Ray Clow. They said they have family ties to a Scalora family, also recorded and confessed involved with a number of other Italian people associated with psychologists and with police forms, making up stories about people through time, slandering people, calling people liars, tied to database stacking, inter-branch. So it's inter-branch, inter-campuses, crime method with people's mouths, and then with violent police associated with directions from them, from how the chiefs were recorded criminally for and influenced, and roles with this, with trade center crimes of all various juxtaposed natures, with treatments of the Keene Center and the trade center attack, people associated with color crimes for evidence crime roles, and for sick crime rolls against each age of fact treatment nature recorded, tied to uses of and as the value of all kinds of psychologists associated with hospital campuses and with their police and with service people that have roles with triage, investigators, and overt criminals with crimes with the areas with them that brought up the untimely deaths, that brought up the more child sex offenders tied to the schools, tied to the and actors with medicine associated with Wethersfield and intercity schools, same cliques, criminal justice too, religion, you. So they're not letting complaints taken. So it was recorded and confessed when I was a kid that both corners of that street were involved with various natures of crime. With the same act, people they direct people to make statements to people, and then you don't know them again. You know they make people come in a class for a second, or they make all exceptions to exploit tied to a method consciously cultivating how, and like for example, we have our nations juxtaposed with trade agreements like that are manifest with and as reactions only like capable of being abridged justification roles with and as the value of our treatment of job sites and of those interactions and live progression cover-up natures and live progressions maintained with and as conjunction to the people associated with our schools and with online policing. Wethersfield police are recorded and confessed, not just with the police chief, but with a whole bunch of different police in their department and inter-branch, making fake Facebook pages, pretending to be me, pretending to be women, pretending they had relationships in the past to people they didn't. This is with and as people recorded and confessed involved with predicate acts, witness fabrications, attaching me to fake conversations about the Trade Center, about cases involved with the Trade Center context in the Ninth Circuit, Manhattan. Proven sequence shift in that case too. The doctors who did that also recorded and confessed involved with drug crime rolls, evidence crime rolls, inter-campus crime rolls with database illusion stacking, with people that were tied to narratives where they were supposed. I filmed the stranger Fred Gourzet right up front. I told him I was going to do it before and after him smoking marijuana. He was right in front of my high school, but he didn't go to my school. And then I handed that in. They didn't even ask me about it. Then they put a domain in my class in my algebra class, and it was a senator's, reportedly his family. I forgot his name. I don't know. Senator, the guy with the white hair. They all have white hair, probably. Not all. I don't know. It's not important. They were covering up live progressions with him or from him, but it was juxtaposed anyways. No one understands because they're being facilitated to roles with this. So anyways, there's also a Justin Gavinskis. I never knew him. I never had a class with him. I never knew him until high school. And then every once in a while he would make confessions and demonstrations with other people, and that's what they were doing. They're making illusions that they're using to discredit people in the future because they're maintaining criminally foreign influenced positions with campuses and through other nations already long here facilitated internation as knaves furthering incapable of defending their fact treatments and premises tricks and crimes and themselves, then incapable of defending themselves and us at the same time, per method with fact treatment nature, with database illusion stacking. Preventing, every time someone tries to complain about the recorded online inter-branch sex crime acts, Eric, K-N-E-R-R, Eric Burgess, and a number of women recorded and confessed, coerced by court police and by military police and by foreign and domestic military ties, like to deans, recorded switching names, with crimes with the policing of each age of campus online platforms, behavior interpretations. We have mental health care with sequence shifts, very ill roles with what was, is, where, and how they juxtaposed needs for counters to crazy things insidiously manifest, because we also have overt criminal enterprise juxtaposed, facilitated with and as the value we are together that we can't stop. That's why the same thing, thematic things are problem. But it is maintained right through too, where the people with the mental health care, with to try to counter people with drug problems, they're hurting people who have no drug problems, and attaching them to fake and pretending they were worried about drug problems so they could cover their crime roles with drugs and as drug predators with child sex offenders, other natures of crimes, predicate acts, crime roles with federal criminals, and with cases, with crime methods and cases with them, and with their co-defendant, former director of the FBI, Robert Luskin. Then they also have been recorded and confessed since I was a kid, attaching me to fake conversations and allusions tied to their roles with evidence reception bodies and uses of police surveillance equipment, like a nature of theater, tied to what is also recorded, tied to the two corners of the street with the child sex offender, and with the Scalora family recorded and confessed with all various natures of juxtaposed crimes with the police forms, and with the foreign ones, and with the doctors, and with untimely deaths tied to it now, and with past and current dentists recorded and confessed tied to them with that, with all kinds of natures of crime. Also with Los Solitos with undercovers, using that to cover live progressions, telling the same live finite body of value and progressive lies with courts, recorded and confessed, raised as victim predators, and covering live progressions with their roles with Sandy Hook recorded doctors, inter-branch, inter-military, and foreign, juxtaposed corruption, covering their life progressions with crime methods recorded worse than torture, but torture that is also too consciously recorded their motivation for bringing up the needs to torture, for facilitating through the same thing that is facilitating through since before anyone was born, the overt criminal enterprises juxtaposed and entertained, blamed on other causes, the cause of it. That was all natures of people needing to blame formally juxtaposed mental illnesses that on people, that's the naive. Everyone's reliant upon mental health care, doctors. I'm not a doctor. They're demonstrably recorded with all kinds of evidence crime roles, database illusion stacked in crime roles, crimes with child sex offenders proven and further recorded tied to them. They know, they are recorded that they lied to say that I raised my voice. They attach me and all kinds of women and kids to fake conversations through time to cover up my lives, because I caught them with crimes with evidence perception with kids, and they pretended I talked about this before I did, and they did it with telling lies. In other words, for confusion, to make evidence mistakes on purpose, because the people with the court through time, the people with the inter-branch, other mayors too involved in stuff like that, all as victim predators, but as victims, but as predators, because that's why they can't take police complaints, because they've been reliant upon information raised criminally foreign influenced, raised juxtaposed with all that juxtaposed with the overt criminal enterprises, specifically to keep them one nature as that, unrealizing how nature itself is going to cause them to be life-progression cover-up natures, life-progressions used as tools, tied to what they were. There's a woman with red hair and her daughter, recorded and non-verbally confessed, involved with crimes with the criminal justice cliques, with tied to Sandy Hook, and with an O'Brien family, and with a bunch that keep through time confessed a Gold family. I never had anything to do with it. She recorded and confessed, involved with others, inter-brnach, trying to make things personal. Look, with passion crimes tied to also like some kind of witch religion and stuff. I don't know if she's involved with that, but people associated with that are involved with the kid crimes and with the sick men associated with that, with women. See, the sick men police and criminal justice cliques. Is that even true that someone around here pulled over a woman and raped her, pretending to be an officer, not like a year ago or so? Because we have a sick campuses. We have sick fact-checking needs. We have no sciences, not by accident. Space maintained. Then everything. Inter-campuses against each age of fact-checking nature. They're using corners. They were setting up reactions to cover their uses of databases, illusion stacking, and crime methods through the kids of the inter-brnach actors and of the juxtaposed criminal justice homeland originally and still maintained with our nations here and there, knaves, per what was his inter-internation, specifically to keep knaves incapable of countering that as quality fact-checking in nature, and of defending themselves, already having been invested as victim predators, blaming on others, the real cause of things. We have sick precedents, and we have sick prison problems because they were hurting innocent people. They were juxtaposing all kinds of natures of their own physical delusions recorded, and their own criminality recorded, needing to cover up lies and roles, with needing to keep things blamed on other themselves, per what they were recorded, facilitated to and as. There's a Justa Klavinskis that was the people in grammar school and in middle school who confessed and recorded themselves with crime roles with men and women, with doctors, with drugs, and with overt gangs drugs, and with they use that for database illusion stacking each year, and they do little tricks like Eric Mendez. I never had anything to do with him. Only like one time he came in my classroom, and then there was what's his name? Eric Olson. I don't even know his brother. They're also recorded, confessed, involved with in other words, they just came in to let me see my face. And there's a Chris Walters that was also directed to come into my science class, and my science class teacher's name was Wall, same last name as me. These people also have a picture of me up that they stole, and they're making like fake Facebook pages, fake YouTube pages through time. All kinds of evidence, crime rolls, spreading rumors with their own Facebook pages. All these people tied to Lethe family that pretended I talked about to anyone about surveillance equipment of police. So now that I've learned that too, it's also that was what I was trying to report too, because there's a Detective Dylan and our other police forms with the area, and our number of criminal uses of the FBI standing position as a criminal insidious nature, whereas how as a pseudo-positive nature, where and how their forced reactions and sacrifice real in relationship to real forced unnatural impositions, natural only through criminal foreign influences left, original and stayed, tactical ones. Forgot what I was talking about again. You see, so the point is, they're not letting police. You have to understand what is being maintained. There are a number of people through life, and Joe DeMoro recorded and confessed with intercity, very sick natures of people with kids. And see, with the way they do this, they had them. I don't even know their names. They made people make statements. They confessed and recorded. They direct inter-brnach actors. All that juxtaposed with everyone. They direct each age of fact-shaping nature to illusions tied to database illusion stacking with class placements that they connect criminally foreign influenced. Not for undercover, because they're telling categorical and sequential shifting illusions with tied to cases, crimes and cases, crime methods and cases, tied to the proven sequence shift post-dated documents handed into the from inside the court, proven after, but handed into the three judges in the Ninth Circuit right in this 9/11 context. And then that was also tied to the predicate acts recorded with that, not let demonstrated because they were pretending others recorded, and that's recorded too. But see, they're not letting. If someone says no, that's a lie. They're not letting it put on paper because they're needing to adapt. Because that's why they have so many juxtaposed natures of crimes, and that's why they juxtapose the sickest ones with the kids, and that's why they juxtaposed the quick reactions to it wrong purposely to hurt the victim's family members, recorded them attaching, even with courts, directing court to fake both sides of news, to roles with their even online, and in cases recorded sequence shifts. Crimes recorded and confessed, spreading rumors with Eric K and ER and other Erics and other people with a K-E-R last name, recorded and confessed since they were kids, involved with all kinds of natures of police and military corruption and mental health care corruption and corruption with, and as recorded now, proven, and further sex offenders proven and further recorded, tied to intercampuses and inter-branch actors with them, male and female. Doctors recorded with the sick, tied to the sick men, abusing women, their space, maintaining each area, ill premises, causes to nature, keep demonstrating the wrong answers, and blame the other and other formally. We have forced, recorded, juxtaposed, sustained nature of organized crime upon the north end of Hartford. But I have to explain it through the simultaneously, consciously, distinct and non-distinct Wethersfield inter-branch and inter-campus corruption, which is with a whole bunch of doctors of psychology, with a whole bunch of sick police, because they're victim predators of how they are shared, where it has you can't defend that, and us from what juxtaposed the overt criminal enterprises to maintain the one before and at worse than all this, but unrealized by this, even every position of sophistication, how to counter it too, because every modern nation has areas and states blaming other and others, defending pseudo-positive as criminal insidiousness natures. Can't legalize it. That's what religions are about. This is like, yeah.